Welcome to the solution for the Add a Homepage coding exercise. This exercise is based on the tutorial of the same name in Tethys platform. It's part of the Google Earth Engine Part 2 tutorial. Just so we're on the same page, I do have Tethys running in a terminal. I have it pulled up already here in my web browser, and I have the code pulled up in PyCharm. Now in this tutorial, we're going to add a new homepage that provides more information about the app instead of launching the user right into the viewer. To do this, though, we need to make way for that page. Alright, so if you look at the URL right now, it points at apps/earthengine/. The URL that has the name of our app in it is called the root URL of our app and is considered the home URL. Okay, currently our viewer is on the home URL. So we need to move it to another URL like viewer. And we also have some other issues. It is currently in a controller that's called home, and in the app.py it's using a URL map that's called home. So we need to change that as well. So I made the decision that we just rename the controller viewer. So let's go ahead and do that. And we'd also rename at the bottom, we're going to rename the template from home.html to viewer.html. So let's go ahead and catch that while we're here. Then in our URL map, we're going to change this to viewer and add /viewer to our URL and make sure it's pointing at the viewer controller. Following that, the last step is we just need to rename our home template. Okay, refactor, rename to viewer. Spell it right, .html. Great. So let's make sure Tethys restarted. It's in the middle of it, and there it goes, it's done. So now if I refresh this page, I should get an error. Right, 404, because we no longer have a URL that's mapped to this, or a controller that's mapped to this URL. So we need to add viewer to this now to get to our viewer page. Great. So that's exactly where we want it to be. Perfect. So the next step is we're going to create the new controller template URL map for our home controller. Okay. Let's start with the template this time. So in the Earth Engine templates folder, let's create a new file and call it home.html. And I'm going to give it the contents from the tutorial, which essentially extends the base image, loads a few libraries that we'll need for templating later on, and then we add just a simple homepage header. Very simple. Let's next go to the controllers and create a new home controller. I'll do this at the top, right above the viewer controller. Great, and it's a very simple controller. Basically all it does is render the HTML page, the home.html page. Okay, there's not really any context to it. Very, very simple. All right, so after we do that, we need to now add the new URL map in app.py. So let me grab that. And I'm just going to put it above the viewer because I like the home URL to be at the very top. Okay, so there we go. We have a home controller. Perfect. I'm going to take away viewer, and we have our home page. And we know it's our home page as well because when we exit and we launch, that's where we end up. It's the first page that we view when we're in the app. So let's start to build out the content for this home page. And the first thing we're going to do is remove this nav. Okay? We did this in the previous tutorial, but let's review. So to do this, open up the home.html page. And what you do is you add the app navigation override block, and you don't put anything in it. So this will override the block that contained all of the app navigation, and since there's nothing in it, there will be nothing there. if we look at it right now, the navigation is indeed gone, but we have a few styling issues. For one, we don't want this icon for the app to be all the way left justified. We'd like it to have a little spacing like we have here on the right with the exit button. We also are eventually going to want our content to fill the page. And right now, if I inspect this, you'll see I've got some margins here and some padding in my content that I want to remove so that it fills the page entirely. So let's go ahead and take care of that with a new CSS script. I'll go to Public, CSS, New File, and we'll call this nonav.css. Okay, and in this we're just going to add a few simple declarations or rules. This one is going to add the 15 pixels of space on the left of our title. This one is going to make sure that we can fill that content area 100% in the height direction. And then these two have to do with eliminating that padding. And last thing we need to do to use this CSS script is we need to link it on our home.html file. So let's go back there. I like to add these statements at the top of the file, kind of like imports. And we're going to put it in the styles block, which is where our styles go. Great. So let's go ahead and go see the result. Very good. No padding here on the side. We got some padding here in the header, just like we'd like it.